Right now in the United States, the LGBTQIA2 spirit community is under attack, with trans lives being disproportionately targeted and put at significant risk. Last week in Tennessee, anti-LGBTQ legislators passed an anti-drag bill banning them from occurring within 1,000 feet of schools, public parks, and places of worship. Tennessee Bill SB 841 defines it as someone performing while exhibiting a gender identity that is different than that assigned at birth using clothing, makeup, or other physical markers. Male or female impersonators must register with the government and obtain a permit. Those found violating anti-drag laws face misdemeanor charges and fines to felony charges and multiple years in prison. At least 32 bills like this have been filed in 16 other states. These bills are so constitutionally vague, they will 100% be used to further discriminate against being trans. Drag artist Ben de la Creme expressed this really well in an interview that I know and you know, trans women are women and trans men are men. However, in the eyes of extremely narrow-minded and transphobic legislators such as the ones who drafted these bills, this intentionally vague wording leaves the opportunity to criminalize being trans. They may say this is a male or female impersonator performing a different gender identity. Each year, violence towards trans people has continued to increase. Queer BIPOC folks are disproportionately affected. More specifically, Black trans women are the highest risk for gender-based violence. In 2021, it was reported that even though they make up only about 13% of the community, almost 3/4 of reported victims were Black trans women. The queer community cannot be the only people fighting. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee also wants to ban life-saving gender-affirming care for trans youth. There has already been at least 127 anti-trans gender-affirming care bans introduced this year alone. If you do not want your child at a drag show, do not take your child to a drag show. But to generalize all drag performers and reduce their art, creativity, and self-expression to something that is inappropriate, to automatically sexualize all queer relationships, and to infer that the mere existence of queer and trans people is overtly sexual in nature, and heteronormativity and cis-het relationships are not only pushed on us, sold as something that we should aspire to, and then celebrated in classrooms, public spaces, churches, movies. Now, when these anti-LGBTQ conservative religious extremist groups realize that they are losing momentum, they funnel millions of dollars into other countries as an experiment to achieve their anti-LGBTQ fantasy. Last week, Uganda passed a bill that would impose the death penalty for homosexuality. 387 people voted in favor of capital punishment and life imprisonment for being gay. Since 2008, U.S. Christian right groups notorious for fighting against the LGBTQ community and reproductive rights have spent more than $280 million outside of the U.S. Fellowship Foundation, which is a secretive U.S. religious group, sent more than $20 million to Uganda alone between 2008 and 2018. This money influences laws, policies, and public opinion on sexual and reproductive rights, creating polarization around issues regarding to sexual and gender identity. This is all intentional, and it is all a distraction to dismantle and divide the most powerful weapon we have, our strength in community. The United States experiences more mass shootings than it has days in a year. More than 34 million people struggle with food insecurity, and more than 50 million people struggle with mental health issues. Extremely wealthy people in positions of power are involved in child abuse and trafficking. You're telling me drag performers, queer people, and trans folks pose the greatest risk to our safety? Be so fucking for real right now. As Chelsea Hart eloquently put, every generation comes up with a vendetta for the existence of queer people. Every generation of queer people have managed to never leave. Although this should not be the reason that you decide to care, Florida's HB 1421 bill is so broadly defined, it could ban health insurance coverage for birth control, hormone therapy for menopause, treatment for breast cancer, treatment for prostate cancer. We as cis people are constantly allowed gender-affirming care. Trans people deserve the exact same. This is a human rights issue. Educate yourself. Educate the people around you. Write to your local government. Share resources. Donate to mutual aid funds for queer and trans people. You can also donate to organizations such as Trans Defense Fund, provide self-defense kits and classes for trans folks. There is power in community, and we all need to stand together and fight to support each other.